Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's third edition of TECspertZ, our sports recap show regarding ECU baseball. I am Anthony. I do a show Inside the Lines Mondays and Fridays, 11 a.m. to 12 noon. You can join me there. To my right, I have...
My name is Daniel Shepard. I am the sports chief of the East Carolinian. You can read our papers, our newsstands on Tuesdays and Thursdays around campus, and also online at theeastcarolinian.com.
I'm Eric. I host a show called Buzzer Beater on WZMB, which is on Mondays and Wednesdays at 4 to 5, where we cover ECU sports and basketball news as well.
And I'm Jess Sabin. I'm a sports reporter for the East Carolinian, and I cover baseball and football.
Excellent. Thank you, Jess, for being here this week. Unfortunately, last week, Jess was feeling under the weather and now is back here with us, so glad to have him back here for the sports recap table. Let's get right on into it. As of right now, the date of this recording, Tuesday the 25th of February, the ECU Pirates are 6-1. They will travel today on the road at 4 o'clock to face Elon at Elon. Hopefully grab a win there. Don't have really an update for you. We're either going to be 7-1 or 6-2. Hopefully, we're going to be on the good side of the coin and be 7-1. But in regards to this past week's results here, we get a sweep against Georgia Southern here at LeClaire, and a great weekend again for the Pirates. We had to play a doubleheader on Sunday because of the inclement weather that hit Greenville. We had some snow, which was interesting. Obviously, the whole town kind of was in shambles and freaked out a bit, because they heard the word snow, so that was pretty funny. But we got a couple inches of snow, and so that kind of put a damper on the weekend plans for ECU baseball. They had to play a game on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Either way, they got the sweep, and boy, did they look good.
Yeah, Alec Burleson really kicked off the weekend. 8 innings, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts on Saturday. Just 1 inning away from the complete game shutout, only 81 pitches, but Coach Godwin didn't want to risk it with his health early in the season. Can't really blame him there. Then first game on Sunday, 3-2 win. ECU jumped out to a 3-0 lead, and Ryder Giles locked down the save inning in a third for I believe what was his second career save. Then Sunday, the bats just really came alive, scored 10 runs through 3 innings, 6-run third inning, and a 10-2 win to complete the sweep. So just really looked good. Pitching and bats really came alive on Sunday.
For sure.
Yeah, they played great on Sunday, especially in the second doubleheader. Not looking really tired at all. Looking refreshed in that game and playing great. But also, really so far, the thing that stood out for the Pirates is definitely the defense and pitching, especially with Alex Burleson, as you said. But that'd be something to especially watch going into this weekend as well.
Anytime a team can win a doubleheader, back-to-back games like that shows, great mental toughness, especially with how young this team is. They're probably not as experienced in that regard, but, they were able to get it out, and they look great in the second game, and I think that's a really good look for them going forward.
And last year's team with doubleheaders swept quite a bit. They did really well with doubleheaders, so I'm not sure what it is with this team with doubleheaders, but boy, did they do good with it when the opportunity is arisen, basically. And so a great weekend for the Pirates. 3-0 on the weekend, and more of a pitching duel on Saturday. Again, Alec Burleson going 8 innings strong, did a great job on the mound. And on the flip side now, let's talk about the offense, particularly with Burleson here. Not so much getting off to a hot start at the plate, but what's good is that these young guys and some of the other fellas on the team here in the middle of the lineup, stepping up, Francisco and Worrell, to be exact here, kind of embracing their role at the moment and really putting a charge into the middle of that order.
Yeah, both Francisco and Worrell hit home runs this weekend. Worrell with a big 3-run shot in the first inning of the second game on Sunday. Burleson really hasn't got going. He did go 3 for 5 on the second game on Sunday. He's back up over 300 on the average, but Francisco and Worrell both up over 400. Just really looking good, and they were both named to the AAC honor roll this week. So really good to see production from those guys, even in the absence of Burleson's production at the plate.
Right. Yeah, and it's not even that Burleson's playing bad necessarily, but at the expectations they had of him, it's definitely underperforming. But also some of the younger guys like Agno stepping up, and he's played very well so far for the Pirates, and Connor Norby has played well on the offensive end for the Pirates again, but really just guys are stepping up in his absence, so that's really good to see for them.
Going back to that whole thing about how young this team is, Thomas Francisco is only a sophomore here, and he's leading the team in 3 categories. He and Worrell are tied with 10 hits, which leads the team. Francisco leads the team in RBI with 7, and at batting average, he's batting .455 so far, and that's extraordinarily good. Worrell is right behind him in both those categories with 5 RBIs, and he's batting .417. So they got that, those two guys middle of the lineup there set for, hopefully this whole season.
For sure. And again, that kind of all the guys stepping up there in the middle of the order is key. And not to say that Burleson is having a slow start, but obviously we're only a few games in here. It will change. Things will get going for the rest of the offense. Even some of the guys like Lane Hoover really has not gotten going so far here this season, and a few other names to mention. I mean, Ryder Giles, not much really coming at the plate. But again, we're only a few games in. There's a lot of time left. The season is long. They will get going, and I have no doubt about that. But and that is basically the offensive side. Now, back to the pitching side, the bullpen has been superb, has been excellent. Every guy that has been called out of the bullpen has been great. Carter Spivey when he gets his name called. Mayhew when he gets his name called. Parker Boyle has looked really great recently. So that is definitely a positive and something to keep looking forward to.
Absolutely, and even guys like Ryder Giles, who's pitched out of 3 bases-loaded jams already this year. Just really looks good.
And get called upon on short notice. I mean, he's playing shortstop here.
Cliff
comes out. He has a couple different gloves to basically exchange with. And all of a sudden, Ryder goes up on the mound and does his thing.
And sometimes he goes back to the shortstop after he pitches.
He has done that a few times, yes.
Yeah. But you mentioned C.J. Mayhew from the left side. He's still yet to give up an earned run. It looked really good. Parker Boyle, like you said. But guys like Garrett Saylor, I know he was a little wild. I believe that was on Sunday when he pitched. Hit a guy and walked a guy, but he's been solid. And even Tristan Kimmel, who is starting against Elon on Tuesday today, he has looked really good in 4 appearances so far.
Yeah, and also they're going to get more healthy with Gavin Williams returning as well eventually. So, I mean, it's really looking at the pitching side, it's already been amazing so far in the season, and it's only going to get better as they get even more healthy. And that weekend rotation will get more in set, and also those midweek games, they'll get they'll get a more developed player to pitch and start those games as well.
Defensively, they got that versatility with guys like Giles and, able to move around, a bunch of guys all over the place there. And the pitching, they've done their job. I mean, Alec Burleson, as we said, he's leading the team right now. He's pitched the most innings and, only given up 1 run. So don't really have much more to say about that. They get healthier, the season moves on, they get back, they get more set in the rotation. Guys figure things out. Hopefully it just gets even better.
Only 1 run on 15 innings of work from Burleson, so doing a great job filling the Friday role on the mound. And again, he's the two-way. He's playing both positions. He is on the mound and he's at the plate. A lot to handle there. But you mentioned Gavin Williams here, not yet ready to go here. Any injury report on Gavin Williams?
Not an updated one. We have to go off what Coach Godwin said last week. I have not talked to him this week, but he did say Gavin Williams might be available this weekend for the Keith LeClaire Classic. We'll obviously have to talk to him in the coming days to confirm that. But either way, it wouldn't be anything major, maybe like an inning or 2 as he comes back from a finger injury. So
very good. So still waiting upon Gavin Williams' debut here for this team. And but for now, Burleson's doing a great job on the mound. Now, you mentioned the Keith LeClaire Classic. It's a tongue twister, folks. That is this weekend here. Mr. LeClaire was the former coach here, battled ALS, and this coming March we'll be doing Mustache March, which is an event that we are all very much looking forward to. So now this weekend we have Indiana, a top 20 matchup with Ole Miss, and High Point coming to town Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A lot to look forward to there. What do we think about this coming weekend? Obviously, a lot of hype and expectations on the Saturday game with Ole Miss. And the pitching rotation has not yet been announced, but you would think it would stay the same with Burleson, Smith, Kuchmaner. Right. Again, not sure on that to be confirmed, but thoughts?
Yeah, Indiana and Ole Miss are both quality teams. They've got wins over ranked opponents already this year, so they're able to shine in the bright lights. But it'll be an interesting matchup. Ole Miss took a series against Louisville to start the year, so they'll be tough and Clark LeClaire. But I believe with the pitching that ECU has, be able to scrape across a couple runs and come away with the wins there, some quality wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think especially if they go with Smith on Saturday and don't switch anything up and it stays the same pitching order, so he will be going against Ole Miss, it would look like. And I think that definitely that'll be probably the toughest game looking at his top 20 matchup, as you said. But I think it's a very possible win as we've seen guys step up and pitch really well. And the depth of pitching and everything. So I think that'll really help them. And seeing Ryder Giles play really well and just everything he can do on the defensive end. So I think that'll be an interesting weekend, and that'll be a fun one to watch, especially.
Coming into this weekend, Indiana and Ole Miss are 2 of the hotter teams that Country right now, Indiana has won 4 in a row, including stealing a game off of LSU, who was ranked very highly at the time. Ole Miss's only loss came against Louisville in their season opener, and Louisville was ranked number 1 in the country at the time there. High Point, you hate to say it, but they're the easiest team out of all of them. They're 5-3 right now. They've lost 2 in a row. They don't have that same kind of momentum. That being said, I think ECU could very well get at least 2 games this weekend. Indiana and High Point don't pose the same kind of threat. As Ole Miss, being Ole Miss is a top 25 team in the country, same as ECU. But you never know, and hopefully ECU will get that 3rd win against Ole Miss. But only time will tell there.
For sure, and I totally agree with you there. You'd hope that they can scratch off 2 out of 3 this weekend. A sweep obviously would be best case scenario here, but a very tough weekend matchup here for the LeClaire Classic, as last year they played the University of Utah, they played Wright State University, and they also played Western Carolina. Now those 3 teams against the 3 teams we just mentioned, quite a difference as far as competition goes. Indiana is 4-2. I mean, they're going to be a good team to play. That's the Friday game. You expect a good game there, hopefully a win. Obviously, the Ole Miss game, the top 20, that's the big one this weekend. And then on Sunday, no disrespect to High Point, but potentially the easiest win for the Pirates over the weekend here. So now let's talk a little prediction time as far as this weekend goes against those 3 teams that we have mentioned for the LeClaire Classic. Let's start Friday with the University of Indiana. What do you think here?
I've got a win over Indiana. If Burleson pitches again on Friday, like we all think he might, keep his success rolling. He's looked good through 2 starts. Nothing jumps off to me that he might decline. So we'll see. I believe an ECU win over Indiana on Friday.
Yeah, even if he doesn't pitch that game, they save him for the Ole Miss game. I still think that the Pirates should get a win on Friday. I think it may be a pretty close game. Indiana is not a bad team at all, but I definitely think the Pirates should get the win, open the series.
Same. Indiana, I think we get the W there. Again, I agree with, whenever we decide to play Burleson on the mound, I think if that's Friday or Saturday, Indiana, we get the dub.
Now, Indiana started 0-2. They have won their last 4 games, so they are a bit on a hot streak here coming into Clark LeClaire. So you definitely want to grab a win there on Friday. I also have a win against Indiana, so we all agree there. Let's talk about the big game, the top 20 matchup against Ole Miss Saturday. This is a tough one here. This is going to be a really, really, really good game here at Clark LeClaire. The biggest game of the weekend. Your thoughts?
I think what it's going to come down to, pretty evenly matched teams here, both in the top 20. I think it's going to come down to the crowd environment. I mean, Clark LeClaire is one of the hardest stadiums to play at when the crowd is rocking. It's going to be a Saturday, people off work. Hopefully the weather's nice. Get a good attendance out there and really get the stadium rocking for ECU. And see if they can come away with a good quality win here, maybe their first ranked opponent of the year, and see if they can take them down.
Yeah, I'm going to be maybe a little more negative here, but I do think Ole Miss will get the win, but I think the Pirates will play really well. I think it'll be a really close game, and I think a lot of it will depend also on the atmosphere at Clark LeClaire. But I think Ole Miss is just a really good team, and how they performed against Louisville this year was exceptional. So I think that'll be a tough one, but I think the Pirates won't win this one, but it'll be a really close game.
I think we take an L on Saturday. I think Ole Miss, their body of work is honestly just more impressive than ECU's. Their only loss is to Louisville. Ours is to Campbell. And so I think we put up a good fight, but I don't think we walk away with the W.
Well, I appreciate your honesty over here, fellas, but I'm going to say that we somehow scratch away a win against Ole Miss on Saturday. My prediction is we do it in extra innings on a walk-off, maybe base hit, home run, something like that. I think this game is going to be tied. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, maybe 2-2, 3-3, something along those lines, maybe even 1-1. I think it's going to be a very tight game on Saturday, and somehow we pull off the win there. So I have a win both on Friday, Saturday. Let's go to Sunday. High Point. What do you think there?
I think that'll be a win. Jake Kuchmaner's still working back from a little bit of a shoulder injury, but we saw him go 46 pitches over the weekend, so he'll be more unrestricted, hopefully, one would think, on Sunday. So maybe see him go 50, 60 pitches. Maybe get up into the 4 or 5 inning range. And he's looked really good in his abbreviated starts so far. So I think the Pirates get another good start from their rotation and take the win over High Point.
I think that, like, looking at no matter if ECU wins on Saturday or loses, it's going to be a low-scoring game, I think, on Saturday. So I think that they will definitely win on Sunday, and I think the Bats will explode, and I think they'll put up a lot of numbers and get the win.
I think we're going to get the win. I think we will be able to put up a lot more runs on Sunday than we would be able to on Saturday. Win or lose, I think, with my prediction being a loss, I think we view Sunday as a bounce-back game, and I think we bounce back, and I think we bounce back strong.
Very good. I agree there. I think we get the win on Sunday. My prediction is a Pirates sweep this weekend. These two gentlemen to my left think differently, and that's okay, but hopeful 2 out of 3 on the weekend. Great to have a sweep. But that will complete our TECspertZ episode, our 3rd episode. Join us next time here on TECspertZ. We appreciate you all. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one, everybody.